At the beginning, I didn't really fully understand. I was like, okay, sure, we'll come together, but then what would happen? So I was quite, surprised, frankly, at the level of openness over here. Like, people are really opening up.
I came with kind of a clean slate. I did not really have an expectation. Partly because when I asked Aruna that agenda क्या है, मुझसे expectation क्या है, and she said नहीं, हम agenda नहीं बताएंगे आपको अभी और आपसे कोई expectation नहीं है, हम आपसे सिर्फ participation चाहेंगे. So I said okay, great. So it kind of fits well with my personal agenda, which is to unlearn, to learn, and to relearn.
They get the craziness that you come with, right? They understand the things that are slightly out there because there's a tremendous amount of relatability. There is, this person gets it. I can talk to them, so all of that is happening.
I just think that this is a space for leaders to show their full selves. Your day job does not matter. What matters is the person under that. So a leader's cocoon.
I observed people being incredibly present. I observed people being very honest with each other, very open. There was a slowing down. There was a relaxation and a kind of letting go.
I feel like it's a renewed trust in the work that we're all trying to do, right? Trust that we're all going to find our way to the same thing, which is how do we work with people, how do we work with communities, how do we create impact, and then we're talking all of this at scale, right? Like how do we organize at scale?
To know the leaders outside their work has been the most interesting part, because you hardly ever get an opportunity to know the person behind the organization. What was the motivation for them to start? What is it that gives them that kick in the morning to do what they do, why they do what they do? And that has been the most intriguing part.
The relationships that we formed were stronger instead of transactional, and the discussions that we had were quite deeper, and I derived a lot of strength from that. I know that I can come back to this cocoon whenever I feel low.
I feel like the open format, in some sense, was such an outstanding idea, right? Because each of us are different people, we're at different starting points or different points in the journey. And if you don't allow the space to find the cracks and the vulnerability and the excitement, then you don't know how to support a person, right? And I feel like Aruna and Arun did such a wonderful job of creating that open space.
This conversation around well-being of people like us who have been wanting to do this and kind of gets a little lonely at times. So to also think about the well-being and how we kind of be there for each other and talk about that as well openly without any any reservations around talking about personal selves. I think that came out very well, and that was way beyond the expectation.
I've always believed that an idea becomes more powerful when it is shared with more people, and especially when shared with people who can really make a difference. And societal leadership as an idea is just emerging. It's still kind of taking shape. It's in that primitive form of being an amoeba, right? So if any particular group can actually take it to a place, to a shape where it is more shareable, more it's in a shape where it can be talked about, this is that group of people.
All the jigsaw puzzle pieces that are needed for people to weave together a life that works for all are available on the planet. But what is missing is bringing these pieces together. So what is missing is connection, conversation, co-creation. So I see here in this gathering the beginnings of such a process.
I think all the leaders who are here are in many ways catalysts of movements. But if you took a step back, I see the possibility of them being catalyst of a leadership movement. Here they came to participate in a space, but I think they are super capable of going and creating more spaces.
Leaders Lab is at its most authentic, simplest self, a space for conversations and connections and hopefully a community.